Okay, so you made it through the gauntlet, and you now have just a couple things that you have to do to actually start working with sites. You should have your computer already set up. That's what that last step was all about. And you should have a GitHub account. You should be just about ready to go. And so I want to kind of walk you through at least the code process of setting up a new site. And this is the basics. Just it only takes a couple minutes. First time you do this, it's going to be a little bit confusing, but you can always stop, rewind. It's really, really not that bad after you've done it once or twice. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is you need to go to my GitHub account. So that is github.com/Pastor Ryan Hayden. Okay. And this is what that screen looks like. But we want to click the repository screen. You'll see I have a lot of them, but there's several that end in theme at the top: Adore theme, Native theme, New England theme, California theme. When you get assigned a new site, you're also going to get a theme assignment with it. So you'll be told, this is the church, this is their contact details, here is the theme that they want to use. So let's say that they want to use the Adore theme. Okay, so you would click on that. And what you need to do is you need to clone this to your computer. Now, what I recommend that you have a folder set up on your computer where all of your projects go. In my computer, it's just the GitHub folder. Okay, so for me, if I go to the home folder and then go to GitHub, that's where all of my project files live. And it's a huge folder with lots of files in it. Okay, you can put it wherever you want. Really, it doesn't matter. But let's say that you have this. Okay, there's several ways to clone this. The way that I normally do this is I CD to my main folder. Okay, so I'm in the GitHub folder here. Whichever folder you want, again, works. Okay, and I usually click on this green clone or download button. I click this copy to clipboard button, and then I go over here and I type git clone. And then I paste what I just copied. I hit enter. Okay, so it's saying this already exists and you can't do that here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to CD back out to another thing just so I can show this to you. All right, so I'm going to do this again. Git clone, paste. And what that's going to do, it's going to download all of that stuff that's in this file, and it's going to put it in a folder called Adore theme. So what I need to do is I need to CD into Adore theme. And here's a tip. When you're using the terminal, you can usually just start typing the name of something and then hit the tab key, and it will finish it for you. So you don't have to type the whole thing out. Really helps with misspellings and stuff. I'm going to hit enter. And now it's telling me that I'm in the Adore theme. Okay. The next step I have to do is I have to, what do I need to do next? Okay, so we've cloned the theme. Probably the next thing that I want to do is I want to rename it. So I'm actually going to CD back out of this. And I'm going to go into my Finder. I'm going to find that Adore theme right there. And I'm going to rename it. So let's say that this is Acme Baptist Church, and they want acmebaptist.org. I'm going to rename it as the URL that they're going to use. So there we have acmebaptist.org. Okay, so that's step 2, rename the theme. The third step is to delete the Git folder. Now, in order to do this, you're going to have to enable showing hidden files and folders on your computer. It's different on Mac, Linux, and Windows. Each way, there's a different thing. But if you have that enabled, all you'll have to do is find the file in your File Explorer or in Finder, and then right-click and move to trash, okay? It's fairly simple, but if you don't have it set up, what you can do is you can actually CD into the folder, and then you can just type this, rm/-rf, and then .git. And what that will do is it will do the same thing. It's just a command line. So if you don't want to go through the habit of go through the process of turning the hidden files on and off, then you can use the command line to do it. All right, but I have them turned on. I usually use Finder. I don't usually type that in. Okay, so we have cloned our theme repo. We've deleted the .git folder. We've renamed it to the URL of the project. What's the next step? Well, the next step is going to be to actually set up a GitHub repo, a new GitHub repo for this project. And to do that, what I recommend is using GitHub Desktop. That's why we had you sign up with GitHub Desktop, is so that you can use it for this step, because it makes this step in particular much easier. And on a Mac, here's the process. You click the plus button, and then you click Add. And then you're going to click Choose. And you're going to find that repository, so Acme Baptist right here at the top. You're going to find that folder, and you're going to click Open. And then you click Create and Add Repository. Now, you're not done yet. It's got all the files, and it has them staged to be added. You just have to put something here in the summary. You can put whatever you want. I usually put initial commit, and then I click Commit to Master. And lastly, I click Publish. And then that's going to make a new GitHub repository for me at acmebaptist.org. That's the name, so I'm going to click Publish. And it should take just a second. Okay, so where are we at? We have cloned the theme repo, we've deleted the Git folder, we've renamed the repo folder, we've set up our own GitHub repo, okay? By the way, repo, repository, that's just a name for the project folder, the main project folder, okay, in geek terms. Okay, so what do we need to do now? Well, we need to cd into our folder in the terminal. So we've done that. Use here, and we can tell that because this says acmebaptist.org. Another thing that you can do is you can actually go into Finder, find it, or Windows Explorer, find it, and I'll show you that in a second. But what we want to do is we want to open this in our code editor. So if you have Visual Studio Code installed, you should be able to just type the word code, a space, and a period, and then hit enter. And what that means is it means open this folder, the one that we're in right now, in Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to do that. And it's going to open up Visual Studio Code for me. Beautiful. That's what we want. Now, another way that we can do this is actually to go into Finder, or again, if you're on Windows, Windows Explorer, just drag the folder icon over Visual Studio Code. All right, and then a third way that you could do it is you could actually go to File, Open, and then find that file. All three things are going to do the same thing. I find that using the command line is much faster and easier after you know how to do it. But if you're really uncomfortable with that, that's totally understandable. You will be comfortable after you do this a couple times. Okay, so now we have this open. What do we need to do now? Well, we actually have a couple more steps. We need to install dependencies. I'll explain what that is in a second. But one of the cool things about Visual Studio Code is that it actually has a built-in terminal. So we don't need this open anymore. We can actually use the terminal that's in Visual Studio Code. And to get to that, we can press the Control key and then the tilde, or the key to the left of the 1 key. And that's going to open up the terminal. Alternatively, I think we can actually go to View, and then, where is it? Integrated Terminal. View Integrated Terminal. But we've got this. And you'll see it automatically opens it in the right folder. It automatically opens it inside this acmebaptist.org folder, so we don't have to worry about that. Now we need to install the project's dependencies. And what that means is this. When you install a GitHub file, it doesn't have all of the stuff that's needed. It just has the main stuff, the stuff that's changed. And then it stores what stuff it needs that doesn't travel with the file in a file called package.json. So this file right here has all of the other things that need to be downloaded, okay? And then there's another one called bower.json. It's got some different stuff, and it has all of the stuff that needs to be downloaded. So what we need to do is we need to install that now, and we do that by running npm, or node package manager, npm install, and this is going to take a minute. it's going to download all of the programs that we need for this particular file and put them in the folders that they need to go in. Okay, that took a while. So we've run npm install. The next step is to run bower install, and this one usually only takes a couple seconds. And there we go. All right, I told you, only a couple seconds. Okay, so at this point, everything should be ready to go. Okay, we can now see what this is going to look like. Okay, and in order to do that, we need to build the site first. So we do that by typing in Jekyll space build. And so it's built the site, and now you'll see an underscore site file here. And this is actually where the actual files live in this underscore site. These are what is going to go live, okay? So we should be ready to go to launch a browser and look at this. And the way that we do that is by typing browser sync space start -- server in we're going to do underscore site. And then we're going to do -- files. And then again, underscore site. And hit enter. Now, I want to tell you something, okay? You're going to be typing these commands a lot. And so what I recommend, and I put this in the tooling up section, is that you add these commands as something shorter to the alias file. So, I don't usually type all this in. What I type in is, let me X that out. And you actually stop one of these commands in the command line by pressing Control and C. What I usually type in is I just type in the word server, and server is an alias for all that stuff that we just typed in. And then if I need to rebuild the site, I actually click this plus button, open up a new terminal, and I don't type Jekyll build. I normally just type build. And it does the same thing, okay? So that's a couple things to remember. All right, so where are we at? We've cloned the repo, we've deleted the Git folder, set up our own name for this with the URL of the project, set up our own GitHub repo, where we've CD'd into the repo, we've installed the dependencies, we've run Jekyll build, we've checked it out on the site, okay? All you need to do now is you need to set up on config.yaml, you need to set up the Airtable keys here. So a couple things you're going to want to do on this config.yaml page. First off, you're probably going to want to change this URL. You are going to want to change this URL to localhost, 3000. Okay, so we're going to save that, and I'm going to build down there. All right, the second thing you're going to want to do is these Airtable API keys. And I'm going to show you this in another video. Most of the actual stuff that you're going to be doing to the site is done on Airtable. I'm going to explain how all of that works in just a minute. But this is basically it. I mean, if you want to add some HTML stuff or change the style sheet, you have to open this up. And anytime that changes are made, you're going to want to go into the terminal and you're going to want to run build and check this. But this is all there really is to working with the sites. You just clone the repo, change the name, set it up as your own repository, and then open it up in this and make a couple changes. And whenever you make changes and you want to see if it looks different, you just run Jekyll build, and that's it. Okay, so I know it's confusing, probably scary for a first timer, but after you've done this like once or twice, like I could literally do everything I just showed you in probably less than 2 minutes. I just do it over and over and over again. And the most time-consuming part of it for me is not remembering all this stuff. The most time-consuming part is actually just like installing the dependencies when you type in npm install. So super, super simple, and not super simple, but super simple after you've done it a couple times. And that's what you need to know. All right.